Welcome back to my channel. Today is Sunday, September 13th. Yet another beautiful Sunday in sunny Barbados. The week has flown by quickly. We want to take a look today at the term stigma. From time to time, either we ourselves or someone we know, a friend, a family member, would have been discriminated against in some form or fashion. So we want to examine the formal meaning of this term and have a really brief discussion on the individualized aspect in terms of what being stigmatized means to us, or to me for that matter. So when we come right back, we'll have a look at this, and stay tuned. Welcome back. In cultural theory, the key concepts, Edgar and Sedgwick describes stigma as a culturally recognized attribute which is used to differentiate or discredit an individual. Now, this can be done in three major ways. It's done mainly through a physical process where the person has a physical disability or some physical attribute that persons would tend to draw attention to. For example, if someone has really big ears or a really big belly, like how in Barbados we culturally would say big belly man. And other physical elements, even racial overtones in terms of maybe the kind of skin color you would have. It is also done in a behavioral manner, especially if somebody has a particular sexual orientation or preference. Those people might be looked down upon or scorned because they took a particular path in life in terms of their sexual orientation or their sexual feelings or religious feelings for that matter. And then there's also the third aspect, which brings about a social element where persons they don't belong to a particular club or they don't belong to a particular group. So because they do not do that, like for example, sometimes people want to find out what school you went to, what religion you belong to, and if you don't belong to that particular religion or school membership, you are ignored, you are left alone, you are isolated. So those are some of the three elements that would lead towards how society generally would treat you as an individual, how you will be accepted into the fold in terms of the social context. These signifiers would determine how it is to be stigmatized as an individual, because what it does with you really is it takes away the holistic aspect or the whole of a person, what a person represents, and it deconstructs you. It individualizes an individual, a person, and then what it does really is have people look at them in a particular way, often not in a positive way, often in a very negative way. As they say earlier in the definition, it puts you at a deficit, or it differentiates you from a particular group within the social context or what have you, within the physical context, within the behavioral context for that matter. So for me personally, I take it as we are all individuals here. We are confronted by various challenges. Right now we're living through a pandemic with COVID. We'd have lived through a pandemic with HIV for many, many decades, and persons who have fallen victim to these diseases would have been somehow stigmatized, because obviously I guess through fear and other aspects in the human experience, people don't want to have diseases, they are afraid of catching the diseases, so therefore they tend to stigmatize the people who have the diseases rather than learning to live with the persons or live with the disease, because after all, humanity did not bring these things into us deliberately, into the fold. But they exist, they coexist with us, they are looking to live, we are looking to live, but we have to find ways of dealing with the challenges and managing the challenges with accepting in a mature sense that they came from a particular source or origin, and understand the biology of these things. Also in terms of socializing, we have different skin colors, we have different social orientations, classes and experiences, and that does not mean that there's anything in any way wrong with an individual's brain or mind because they have a particular skin color, they come from a particular class, maybe they've grown into a chattel house, a board house, and people don't want to associate with them because they live in a wall house, and that even in itself is a stigma. Because you have some people that would not probably visit people's homes because they live in a particular type of house. Imagine that. Or they don't belong to a particular social group, or don't have a particular kind of training or intelligence, or maybe don't have a PhD, an MPhil, a master's degree, or even a simple first degree. So as human beings, we must take stock in terms of how we treat each other, especially in times like these that are quite dark and very mysterious. And we must learn to get along with each other and, practice the art of love more, and try to really manage the challenge of being stigmatized, because anybody could be a victim of being stigmatized, whether it be for your color, whether it be for your racial or religious or ethnic orientation, or even sexual orientation. So as human beings, we must come to the table in a mature way and try to manage and cope with the difference as we get along in the world, because as we notice, there are things that are really bigger than us, and we in our infinite form as humans, we must, in our mortal form as human beings, must rise up to the challenges and coexist. I know everybody would not be able to manage such challenges. So to wrap up, within a social context, we must learn to coexist with each other. We are here in a world of difference. We must be mature about how these things impact us as individuals and learn to deal with them. And, try to bring positive and meaningful things to the table. Try to bring love to the table and understanding. And move forward as a race, recognizing that we do indeed have our mortal, human, physical challenges to cope with. So the best way to get through it is through togetherness and understanding, and also education. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you for subscribing to my channel. Continue to support the channel and continue to have some feedback with me as we look at some meaningful terms within the aspect of cultural studies and cultural theory. So next week I will look for another wonderful term to present to you. But in the meantime, have a safe, happy week, and hope to see you again next week. So bye for now, and cheers.